Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as I'm sure you've already figured out by now, I love fun, cute, gimmicky palettes, whether it's Harry Potter themed, mermaids, unicorns, whatever the case may be. And of course, now we can add to it, Disney. This is the Disney Tale as Old as Time Beauty and the Beast eyeshadow palette, and it's available only at Hot Topic. It's a Disney licensed product, and it's super cheap. It's under $20. So I saw there was an article on Pop Sugar, I believe it was, just a couple of days ago about this Beauty and the Beast eyeshadow palette. And one of my girlfriends, Stephanie, tagged me in the article. So I immediately called up the nearest Hot Topics to me to see if they had it in store, and they were already sold out. So I managed to find a couple at a store not too far from me. I mean, it was still a little bit of a drive, but you know. So I managed to get it this weekend. And so yeah, now I have it. I will say, so I've already tried to film this video once, and that one really was a true first impressions. It was the first time I was trying, you know, blending these shadows. And then my card corrupted, so here I am refilming it. So this video will be more of a lessons learned video, because I will say, this palette is under $20, so it is on the cheaper end of your eyeshadows. You know, if you've ever tried any of like the e.l.f. eyeshadows, or like how I tried the Lottie London eyeshadows, sometimes some formulas are really, really great, and sometimes some aren't so great. Or the eyeshadow can be really great if you just work with it the right way, you know, and so if you're gonna get a palette for less than $20, I'm okay with that, you know, learn the right way to work with the eyeshadow and you can still have a really pretty look. So yeah, like I mentioned, this retails for $16 or just over $16 if you buy it in stores, but if you buy it online, Hot Topic is having a sale right now. Everything is 30% off, or a good bit of everything is 30% off. So you get it for about 13 bucks or so. So that would definitely, you know, if you can wait, go ahead and buy it online. That way you don't have to try to find it at your nearest store. So if you're curious about how this is in relation to the Storybook palette size-wise, they're about the same size, you know. This Beauty and the Beast one is just a little bit smaller, but I mean, you know, they still have the cute like book texture. You know, it's got kind of like the gold detailing, just like the Storybook Cosmetics one does. This one just seems a little bit heavier to me. But either way, like if you had both, they would look really, really cute on a shelf together. And if you planned on buying more Storybook Cosmetics palettes in the future, they'll look like books, and you'll just have a bookshelf full of makeup. And that's pretty awesome. So yeah, so let me give you, so this is what the palette looks like. The front, the side is really, really cute. You've got like Chip and Mrs. Potts and all that. And then the back has, you know, some detailing about the actual product itself. This is cruelty free and it is vegan, so that's really nice. And it is a magnetic closure. One thing I did notice is it doesn't bend all the way back. So the Storybook Cosmetics book, you can fold all the way back, and then you can just kind of prop it up on your table and do your makeup. This one goes about that far, and that's it, without you breaking it. So you kind of just have to have the whole thing open on your table when you're using it. So I mean, you know, it's not horrible. So here's what the actual shadow looks like. And they're beautiful, beautiful bright colors. And you can see here this gorgeous like rose etched into the design. They really did a really good job on this palette. I think it's beautiful. So you do have a number of matte shades, and then you have a number of shimmer shades, and then this one right here, it's more just kind of like a glittery shade. I tried using it the last time when I filmed the first video, thinking it would give me like a bright highlight, and it really doesn't. So that's probably my least favorite of all the colors, but these two neutral colors are gorgeous. This one is a great transition shade. This one right here, this is called Enchantress. It's kind of an iridescent blue. It's beautiful and it's super easy to work with. Same thing with Castle Walls. I actually wore this to work today. I just kind of wiped it all over my lids and put a little bit of this bookworm color in the crease, and it was just a nice, simple, everyday look. So, and then I'm super happy about this bright yellow color. So I don't know if you got the Lorac Beauty and the Beast palette, but I personally chose not to. you know, I just kind of felt like when I saw the palette, it just looked kind of muted and a bit boring and similar to a lot of colors that I already had. And the packaging really didn't do anything for me. This, I mean, I guess I'm just drawn to books because I do love books, but I thought the packaging was adorable. I think these colors are just so bright and fun, and these colors really do make me think more of the characters. I mean, you know, this yellow definitely looks like the color of her ball gown. You know, the blues, I love that they have this kind of burnt red color, and it's called Rose, so that's really cool. So I mean, I was just more drawn to this palette. You know, if you were contemplating getting the Lorac palette and you just really didn't want to spend the money for it, because I think it's close to $50, you could easily get this one, have a really pretty collector's, you know, Beauty and the Beast themed palette. And I will say that there are a lot of similar shades in this palette to the Lorac palette. You definitely get more eyeshadows with the Lorac palette, but they're smaller pans, so you do get, you know, larger pans here, but you don't get as many. I think there's only 12 here. But it's a lot of similar tones. The Lorac palette had kind of these muted blues. It had some of these like mauve-y colors. It did have a yellow, but it was like more of a pastel yellow, you know. So I mean, it's your call. I would definitely go ahead and throw my $16 at this palette and just enjoy it and have fun. So the other thing I will say is this one doesn't really have a great mirror. It's kind of like, I mean, you could see your eye in it, but it's not really that fantastic of a mirror. But it's a really adorable shape, and Hot Topic sells a mirror that actually looks just like the thing. So, and it's really cute on the back too. So I went ahead and picked that up because it's on sale too. So I'll do some swatches for you real quick, and then we'll do the eyeshadow look. So starting here, we have Mademoiselle, which is kind of a medium light purple. It's got some shimmery sparkle in it. It's very light when you try to work with it, no matter how much you try to pile it on. This next one is Beast, which is just a matte navy color. It's very pretty, but very hard to work with. It's very patchy. Then you have Winter Frost, which is a really pretty kind of gray toned bluish color. And then this one is Bookworm, which is just a nice dark brown. This one actually is really easy to work with. I wore this today to work in my crease, and it went on very nicely with the brush. Then this one right here is Rose, which is kind of just a burnt reddish orange color. I'm so happy they included this color. It's just so unique. Then it's my least favorite color in the palette. This is called Petals. It looked so pretty in the pan. I thought it was going to be a beautiful shimmery pink color, but it's just chunky glitter. So no matter what I've done, wetting the brush, patting it on, it's just chunky. I can't really seem to get a good look out of it. Here we have Ball Gown, which is just a beautiful shimmery yellow. And then this one is Wolves, which is a matte black. This actually was much easier to work with than this navy color. Then this one is Bittersweet, which is just a beautiful, beautiful light brown transition color. You can be light-handed with it and just have a nice soft transition, or you can build it up. These last three are probably the best in the entire palette. So this one right here is Castle Walls. It's kind of a coppery burgundy color. It's just a shimmer, very buttery, very creamy. This next one is Learn to Love, which is more of a shimmery brown with a slight burgundy-ish purple undertone. And then this last one is Enchantress, and it's just kind of a beautiful shimmery blue. So here they all are. Okay, so when I did the look the first time before my camera decided to get rid of it, I went with more of the blue and yellow tones. I really wanted to use this yellow, and then when I swatched this Enchantress color, I just thought it was really pretty, so I went with more of the blue tones. I will say that I am also really drawn to these kind of warmer tones, so maybe I'll do another look with that some other time or just post something on Instagram, but for now we're gonna go blue. And I'm gonna kind of tell you about some of the horror stories that I had when I worked with it the first time, and this can just be a lesson learned. So I've already primed my eyes and set it with translucent powder. So I'm just going to start off with kind of a tapered blending brush into Bittersweet, which is just this kind of light brown color, and I'm just going to lightly use that just as a transition shade. So next up, to add a little bit of the blue color, I'm going to go into this color right here, which is called Winter Frost. And I'm gonna run that through the crease as well, and then onto the outer corner. So I'm just kind of starting light and building the color up. So next up I want to add Enchantress, which was this kind of satiny blue color at the bottom. So the first time when I did this look, I tried to use a brush on both Enchantress and Ball Gown. I tried different variations of using a flat brush. I tried wetting the brush, and I just couldn't get the colors to really work well for me. Either they blended away as soon as you touched it with a different brush, or it just wasn't really giving much of an impact on the colors. So when I was playing around with it this morning and actually doing my makeup, I found that these kind of satiny shades work a lot better if you just use your finger. So that's my tip. If you want to get this palette and you want it to work for you and actually be able to use it, just use your finger on the satin shades. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take my ring finger and see, I mean, you can see how much comes off. I mean, it is a very gorgeous color. So I'm going to take my ring finger and I'm going to pat it. I'm only going to go from about the edge of where we kind of blurred that color to just before the inner corner, because I'm going to leave that kind of blank for the yellow. So see, if you just kind of pat the color on, it's much more pigmented and you have a much better color payoff. And I really, really love this color. You know, and it's like when you touch it, it's one of those formulas that just feels really smooth and buttery. So it was very disappointing when I used it the first time and, you know, it barely came off with the brush. Or the one thing I will say with these shadows, and I feel like I noticed this with a lot of cheaper shadows, is when you try to build looks and do multiple, you know, shades and you just keep building color upon color, the more you take a brush and go over something, it's more like you're taking product away as opposed to laying it down. So that would be the one thing I noticed with this palette is, you know, it doesn't really like it when you take a brush and try to blend more color on top. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna take it a little bit up into the crease just because I want the crease to be a little bit brighter. Okay, make sure they're even. All right, so that is good. So the palette does come with a brush. It's just kind of a flat brush. It's actually got a really cute wrapping around it. It's got basically Belle in her ball gown. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use the brush just to start this yellow color ball gown, and then I'll go over it with my finger. But I wanna just kind of use this to be able to get it kind of right up into the inner corner, and then I'll use my finger to make sure that the yellow really stands out. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take my pinky so I can get in there really good, swirl that around in the color, and just pat it right on there. And then what I'm gonna do is start to just bring it on top of the blue color to kind of blur them together a bit. And then I'm just gonna go back into Winter Frost with my brush. Bring it down just a little further on this right eye because I feel like the left eye it comes down a bit further. I'm gonna go back in with my finger into Enchantress. Just kind of touch up that top area on both sides. So I'm going to try to see what happens with a brush. I'm just going to take a dense blending brush into Enchantress. And all I want to do is just kind of very lightly bring it down a bit and across through the crease. And then I'm going to take that same brush, go in with the yellow, and just kind of very lightly brush it upward. Just kind of brush it up a little bit so that it blends in to that blue, and it almost kind of starts to turn it into like a green. But that way we have like a bit of the gradient in the colors. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do with this eye. I just want to kind of leave it simple. Like I said, the more you try to pile on and blend together, the worse it looks. So leave it alone. All right, so for the lower lash line, I'm just gonna take a flat brush and just go back into Winter Frost again and just start by lining the lower lash line. I'll actually use my nice little new mirror. Okay, and I left the inner corner bare so that I could go back in with some of that yellow ball gown color and just bring that right underneath. We're basically just mirroring the top lash line. And then I want to just take a pencil brush and go back into the kind of light blue Enchantress color and just go right underneath and slightly on top of that blue, just to kind of give it a nice blurred effect. All right, that's that. All right, so I'm just gonna finish up with some liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. All right guys, so here's the finished look. I went ahead and just did some black in my waterline and some mascara, my good old L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara. So I will say I'm actually kind of happy that I had a bit of a camera malfunction during the first version of this video, because it really gave me a chance to give this palette a second chance, and I've had a much more pleasant experience this time around. I think I just was getting so frustrated the first time that I filmed this, and I was trying to use a brush and wet brushes and just different ways that I would normally work with more higher quality shadows, and it was just being like kind of a clumpy mess, and you know, it was driving me crazy. Now that I kind of had a chance to play around with it and learn that some of these shadows work much better if you just use your finger, I'm actually happy with the look. It was really fast for me to do. You know, it still has a really pretty kind of gradient look. So I will say, you know, don't always just, you know, try a palette one time and decide whether or not you hate it, because maybe there's other ways for you to try it that you might end up really liking it. So I would definitely recommend this. What can I say? You know, it's a palette that is shaped like an adorable book. You know, you've got this beautiful belle figure on the front. It's Disney, it's Beauty and the Beast. And most importantly, it's under $20. I think when you find really cute, you know, especially Disney themed items like that that are under $20, I mean, why wouldn't you pick it up? I mean, it's probably, you know, it's close enough to the price of like an e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. It's about the price of that Lottie London face palette that I got. So you can't really go wrong spending $16, or buy it online, spend $13 on a really, really adorable palette with some really pretty colors that, you know, maybe you just have to use your finger to make a really pretty look. But I'd say all in all, I'm happy with that. So this gets my stamp of approval. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will say, if you ever come across any, you know, interesting looking palettes or makeup items like this, you know, whether it be Disney themed, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Doctor Who, anything like that, anything that you think that I might, you know, have fun making a look out of, tag me if you see those. I've got all my social media linked below. You know, if you ever see something like that, just send me a picture or tag me on it. You know, like I said, my friend Stephanie tagged me on this one, and I'm really glad she did, because I, you know, wouldn't have wanted to miss out on such a good deal on a really cool, cute little palette like this. So Hope you guys have been enjoying these palette reviews. I'll try to see if I can do just some more everyday looks because I feel like I've been going very colorful lately, but I'm having fun with it. So thanks for watching, guys.